Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing. When it comes to putting a roof on your home, protecting your family and your belongings, improving the value of your home, the team to call is Daniel Hood Roofing. Daniel, I can tell you, an incredibly conscientious man, and I can promise you he will do all he can to get you the great roof at a great price, and he won't body slam you in the process. DanielHoodRoofing.com to learn more. Give him a call this week. All right. Time for our rapid fire segment. 4 quick topics, one for each of you guys, about 60 seconds for each of you on these. I'll just go around the table here. Will Overstreet, Milton, Hyatt, Evans, Small, Cooper Mays, Young. UT has already had to play without a lot of guys for a lot of different reasons. You've now seen how they've done without them. So, do you feel worse about the depth as you go into SEC play, or do you feel better about their depth as you go into SEC play?
Absolutely, it has to be worse, because you just look at what's happened and you see the drop off from number 1 to number 2, and you understand why that guy was number 2. It was a clear number 2, not a 1A. And so when you look at that and you go, well, you've played Pitt and you've played Bowling Green. Those aren't exactly the most physical games you're going to play this year. And so when I start looking at that and going, that's going to compound, and this defense being on the field is going to compound, more time on the field, I just look at it and say, I have struggles and worries. You know, not to mention that a deep snapper was like our second string linebacker in the spring game. So eventually you get to there.
Right.
So I think you have to be more concerned with the depth issue than any point.
The next thing, you'll be pulling kids out of the band.
Yeah.
You know?
Which they did a couple of years ago. Chuck.
Yes, sir.
The trade-off I heard all off season, the compromise I was hearing, was that many Tennessee fans be all right this year. If you lose, but if it's exciting, if you're putting points on the board, Vol fans be cool with that kind of loss. Yesterday's loss, that feel better to you than last year's losses, Chuck? You're the super fan here.
Well, I saw some things that did make you feel good, because what happened after the score was 34-20 Pitt. I mean, last year's team see you around campus. This team came back and had a chance to win the game. So I don't necessarily just put it in the exciting loss. I mean, you're 1 or 2 plays away from maybe even getting it into overtime. So they are more exciting. I see a lot to build on, but I also like when Heupel said there was nobody more disappointed than the players and the coaches. So I like that attitude.
Okay, now, to answer my question, do you feel better about a loss yesterday? Did you feel better about 41-34 loss than you would have if they lost 14-7?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. On Twitter, although Twitter is always just
Right.
it's designed, it's hell unleashed on earth. But yesterday it was just brutal with this team sucks, 4 wins. It's Butch Jones Part 2, fire Danny White, they never hire anybody. I thought, well, that whole it'll be an yeah. And I almost did a mean tweet. Yeah, based off the exciting loss thing was going to be better. It didn't look like it, but that's Twitter. So there you go, Chuck. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jimmy, Jabari Small was hurt at the end of the half on a give-up play, killing the clock. Did Heupel do the right thing because, hey, play ball, or should he have played it safe?
He should have played it safe, and there are a couple of reasons why. If it's a give-up play, just take a knee and you go into the halftime, you don't risk anybody being hurt. But why would you risk that if you got Tyon Evans, who's an outstanding running back? He's not even playing. You can't afford to have Jabari Small get hurt, right? So you did on a play that was unnecessary. Take a knee, get into halftime, and then regroup. But by running the football, Small has an injury. I don't know the significance of it. I don't know if he's going to be back or when he's going to be back. But that was a needless play. You should have taken a knee and kept Jabari Small healthy.
Could have used him in the second half yesterday,
Oh, yes.
even if he's back
Absolutely.
next week.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing is how many of these guys do they play against Tennessee Tech that are injured this week? If it were me, nobody. I wouldn't play anybody against Tennessee Tech. I wouldn't have scheduled Tennessee Tech, but that's just me. Josh Ward, your question. When Milton went out, UT dialed back the deep shots, and their offense started moving. In fact, last week, Milton had 2 good drives to start the game. Going to a short, quick passing game. Had him do a couple of design runs. My question for you is this coaching staff too enamored with you're a Raiders fan, the Al Davis deep shot stuff?
Hey, speed wins. Probably so. I was actually a little surprised they didn't still try a little bit more because they were getting guys open. They just weren't connecting to see if Hooker, who they obviously have had less confidence in doing it, could get it done. But yeah, I mean, I think they are. It shows me they can win in multiple ways, but I would mix it up more.
Yeah, it just seems like an awfully low percentage style of football. You know, you're counting on you're not going to hit 5 for 5 on those deep balls.
Well,
so
and,
you're
and I
saying if we
mentioned
hit
SEC
2,
play earlier, but in SEC play, you're going to face better athletes. It'll be more difficult to get guys open. I would consider that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also you're also if we get a couple of these and then we get a couple of flags off of it, which they did yesterday.
Yeah.
Do they count that as a win? I just think it seems awfully desperate, for lack of a better word, is all we've got is to throw bombs with Milton.
And I think that's what Callaway needs more
Right,
time.
exactly.
He's the guy that can make a guy miss, and he's the only guy I've seen show that in the field. And that's a way that you get a short pass into a long pass that's a high percentage pass.
Okay.
You wonder if Milton was hitting those in practice consistently to where they thought, yeah, let's keep trying it, but he hasn't done it in a game yet.
The announcers for ESPN yesterday were saying how accurate they were going on and on about how accurate Milton was in the practice that they watched last week. So you do have to wonder.
He's a practice guy, not a gamer.
Could be. I mean, that was the thing that Josh Dobbs was never great in practice, and Nathan Peterman was. And then you saw him in games, and it was flip-flop.
Or do you like
Casey
Pat-
Clausen was not a good practice guy.
Right.
And was on the field.
Or back up 3 more yards before you throw it.
That's right. It's the old 15
He's not
step drop.
dropping deep enough.
Very good. When we come back, final thoughts. We're going to get the VFLs back out here. We're going to wrap it up on Pitt. Then we're going to look ahead to what the Vols have, future foes coming up. And did this game change the way we look at that? And then we've got the Chucky Casino. Casino beat the house. Much more to come here on the Sports Source. Come on back.
Thanks for choosing us to entertain,
complete with tension and biting humor.
and inform you. This is the Sports Source.